Let's talk about text in your document. So there could be two types of texts in your document. Normal text, that where you explain your ideas, and headlines. Okay, headlines could have several layers, several levels to it. Parts headline, section headline, subsection headline. So the easiest way how to manage all the text is by using styles. So you have styles in home tab. Here you see styles, and the basic text where you explain your ideas is a normal style. So we start with it. Right click, modify, and we start working with it. So first step is to change your font, and you can use either Times New Roman, either Calibri. I will type Times New Roman. The size is 12 points. Then we go to Format Paragraph and we add additional settings. For example, General. Here with the alignment we choose Justify. Now indentation we choose first line. Spacing before and after is 0, and line spacing is 1.5 lines. So that's what we set up for our main text. We press OK, we press OK, and as you can see here, my document already looks like a thesis. Now, next step is working with headlines. Now, please pay attention to that part because it's very important. Check the guidelines, formatting guidelines, and whether the rules are still the same that I'm using right now. So first headline level is the part headline, and we will use heading 1 style for it. So what we do here, let's say this is our part introduction. It's a part. So I will choose headline, right click, heading, right click, modify, and let's format it. So we start with Times New Roman because if you chose one Times New Roman for your text, then it should also be applied for your headlines. So Times New Roman 16, color should be black, and instead of justify, it should be centered. Okay, so I go to Format Paragraph and I set up everything else. So important notice here, please uncheck special, because when we set up the normal style, it automatically populates most of the settings to the next styles. So we don't need indentation for the headlines. Now, with the spacing before and after, we don't need anything before. Why? Because parts will always be in the new, starts with a new page. So part headline always comes as the first line on a paper, on a page. So but after it should have 12 points. Okay, now try to write your headlines as short as possible with one line, but if your headline is long, then the line spacing between it should be only single. And since we established before that part headline will always be on the top of the page always, so I can go to line and page break and set up the page break before checkbox here. That will allow me to automatically move my headline to the next page. So I press OK, I press OK, and now how I am applying my style. So this is my introduction paragraph, and I would like to format it as a heading. So what I do, I put my cursor here, I press heading, and it goes here. Oh, I forgot to add bold. So that's how I do that. I just modify my style again. Okay, and it's done. So let's create some additional headlines. So I will just use this text as another heading. So I just put a cursor, I choose the style, and you see what happens. It's automatically moved to the next page and it's formatted accordingly. And let me add another one like this. Okay, very good. Now let's go for the next level, and next level is section headlines. And in a Word document we can use heading 2 for it. So right click, modify, and let's set it up. So we start with Times New Roman as usual. Here we choose 14, also bold, and black color for the text. Very good. Format paragraph. Now we do not need page break before, because sections, headlines, they go one after another in the document, and we don't need to move it to the next page. Okay, the same as the part headline. No special indentation and spacing. Here it becomes tricky, because by default indentation before spacing before should be 24 points, and after should be 12 points as usual, right? And the line spacing is one line, because again your headline should be as short as possible, but if it's it's longer than one line, then there's one line spacing between it. And I press OK, and I press, oh, I forgot to center it, and I put center like this. Okay, very good. Now let's create some titles. So let's highlight headline. So I put here cursor. I'll click it here and dock it. Headline 2. You see 25 points before, 25 lines. Very good. And let me do that here. The same. Let me add another one. Heading 2. And let me add another one, and then also let's create this situation, because sometimes this could happen. Now what we see here, in previous cases everything was fine. Why? Because that's how it should look like in a normal life. So you have a text for the previous section, then 24 points, then the title, and the next section. It's perfect. But sometimes something like this could happen, that you have your part title and beneath it you have section title. Okay, so those 24 points that we have here are not allowed. Now it should be only 12 points. So how we will manage this? This is something that happens very rarely, and if it happens, then you have to change it manually. How you do that? So you have created your title, your headline, you put your cursor in this headline, you go to paragraph, and you press this paragraph setting button, and specifically for this paragraph you say that there is no spacing before. You press OK, and now your headlines are closer to one another, and this looks perfect. Now you can refer to your formatting guidelines, and you can set up also your subsection headline if you need it. The technique is the same. Just use heading 3, right click, and modify. Now, this will not change anything here. Next part is the numbering. You need to add numbering to your headings, so you can refer to them in your text. So how you do that? You do that with this button on the Home tab. It's called Multi-Level List, and from this list you choose heading 1, 2, 3. That option here. Perfect. Now you see automatically all styles receive the numbers, and those numbers are sequential. As you can see here, it's second part, and this is 2-1 section. So this is 2-2 section. Actually, let's make this normal text like that. Okay, so everything works automatically. If you want to change something here, you go again to put your cursor here, you go again here, and you choose a define new multi-level list. And if you need to change something, like for example, maybe you want to add here a dot after your number, then you have to do it for all levels if you want to do that. So you do that for all levels, and maybe you would like to change the symbol that is between number and text. Right now it's a tab character, but maybe you want to make it a space. So again, you have to do that for all levels that you are using. just by selecting the level here and then choosing what kind of a symbol follows your number, and you press OK, and this will just bring your number and text closer. Okay, so that's all with the text. You have normal text. You have several headings, and all of them mainly are enough for you to write your thesis, your paper, because they create main structure of your paper. The last thing about the numbering, that you don't need numbering on several parts titles, right? And so those are overall titles like introduction, your table of content, list of references, conclusions, and proposals. So for those parts, headlines, you don't need numbering, and you can manage that several ways. My way how to do that is to create a new style. You can call the style other headlines, and the important part here, they are based on heading 1, and the only difference they have is that the numbering is none. So I just clicking on none, press OK, and now I have my introduction that does not have number to it. If I scroll down here, I see that then next headline starts with 1, not from 2 as it was previously. Okay, so other headline is a way how we can get rid of the numbering on specific headlines, like introduction, table of content, conclusion, proposals, list of references.